Okay, so this is the review for exam 1 using Excel. The first question is an after-tax yield calculation. The after-tax yield is simply taxable yield multiplied by 1 minus the marginal tax rate. So this is right here is the formula. So John bought a BlackRock bond that yields 10% interest annually. His average tax rate is 21%. His marginal tax rate is 25%. What is the after-tax yield on the bond? So equals. Anytime you calculate a formula in Excel, you can start it with equals plus or minus. So the 10%. And I've formatted these. I'll talk about formatting a little bit in a bit. So I need the star to multiply, and then 1 minus my marginal tax rate. And I get a after-tax yield of 7.5%. You can see the after-tax yield when the marginal tax rate is 25%. The after-tax yield is 75% of the taxable yield. If it was marginal tax rate was 35%, it would be 65% of the taxable yield, or 6.5%. So next we have a future value of a lump sum. So for future value, we'll use it equals FV is the function, and we'll see that in just a second. But the question here: Rufus deposited $250,000 into his IRA 30 years ago. How much is in his account today if he earned 10% compounded monthly? So we need to, N is our number of periods. So we calculate the 30 years is the term monthly, so 30 times 12. So IY is the rate divided by 12. We need a monthly rate. And then PV is entered as a negative. If we entered our deposit amount as a positive, we would get a negative as an answer. So it's not wrong. But the way the software works is it uses negatives to reflect deposits and payments, and then positives to reflect receipts. So 0 payment, and then future value. So equals FV, open paren, and then we just do rate, the 0.83%, the number of periods, comma. The nice thing about Excel, it tells us exactly what we need. So rate, number of period, payment, present value, type. Everything we do will be the default, so you don't have to worry about type. So payment, comma, present value, comma. So that's $4,959,349.84. So now, so next we're going to do a future value of an annuity. So this is it would be like you making continuous deposits into your 401k. So in this case, we got Freddie. Freddie invested $400 monthly for 34 years into his 401k. How much money is in the account today if his employer has a dollar for dollar match and he purchased an investment that earns 12%? So 34 years. So 34 times, use a star, 12, so 408 months. So now our interest rate is 12%, and we divide that by 12 to get a monthly rate. And there's nothing in the account to start with, so that's a 0. So now our payment is minus, and then we need parentheses, the deposit amount plus the employer match. So that's $800 a month going into the account. So equals FV. So now rate, comma, number of periods, comma, and then payment. We could go ahead and enter the present value, but that's optional. So we can just close paren, hit enter. So $4,556,000 $715.94 is how much you would have after depositing $800 a month for 34 years and earning 12%. So, all right. So, another final question: future value of a lump sum. In this case, it's annual compounded. So Leon has $250,000 to invest for retirement. How much will he have after 25 years if he buys a CD that earns 9% compounded annually? So the term is the 25 years. The rate is the 9%. And PV is the 250,000. And then payment 0. So equals FV. So rate, comma, number of periods, comma, and then payment, comma, which is 0, and then present value and close parentheses. So that'd be $2,155,770.17. We can also do it like this. Just literally type the information into the formula. So equals FV, then 0.09, comma, 25, comma, and then 0 for payment. And then I'm going to enter the $250,000 as a positive, and then it'll be the same number, but we'll get a negative. So that's that is future value of a lump sum with annual compounding. So the next we have oops, I forgot to delete that. There we go. So we have tax liability calculation. So Harper had taxable income of $400,000 in 2023. What is his tax liability? What is his marginal tax rate? So this is the tax rate schedule for single filers from 2023. In class, we will use the 2024. What we do is we look at the $400,000 and we find where the $400,000 fits into the bracket. So the $400,000 is greater than $231,250 and less than $578,125. So our tax liability is going to be $52,832 plus 35% of the amount over $231,250. So here, so equals 52,832 plus 0.35, 35% times, we need the star, then our taxable income, the $400,000 minus the $231,250. So our tax liability is $111,894.50, and our marginal tax rate is simply 35%. So, whoops. So 0.35. There we go. So mention formatting. So format numbers here. So the percent is right here. So I can comma is the income is formatted as comma, but I could change it to a percent. I can change it to a dollar. So just by clicking, I can add a 0 or I can reduce a 0. But so in the same for percent, so hit percent, and the default is no decimal places, but we can add decimal places and so forth. So that's it for the filing, single filing. If you were a married filing jointly, you would do the same process. You would just add the two incomes together and use the married filing jointly tax rate schedule. So next we have married filing separately. We have the married filing separately tax rate schedule from 2023. Harper and Ruby, they expect taxable income of $50,000 and $400,000 respectively. What will be their tax liability if they file separately? What's their average tax rate? So Harper's $50,000, so he is between $44,725 and $95,375. So his tax liability is going to be $5,147 plus 22% of the amount over $44,725. So equals 5147 plus 0.22 times his taxable income minus the $44,725. The tax liability is $6,307.50. Now for Ruby, Ruby's actually above $346,875. So her tax liability is going to be $93,300.75 plus 37% of the amount over $346,875. So that equals $93,300.75 plus 0.37 times her taxable income minus the 346,875. So her tax liability is $112,957. Their combined liability is the two added together, the 6,307 and the 112,957. So $119,264.50. If they filed jointly, they would pay slightly less in taxes. So the average tax rate is simply the $19,264.50 divided by their taxable income, which is the two added together. So let's do the 450 plus the 50. The average tax rate is 26.5%. So that's it for the exam one review.